So technically, we're ready to add fluid back, I think. We're going to start with coolant because it's the most likely to leak. Using distilled water. You want to use distilled water when you're filling your coolant up, or pre-mixed antifreeze. It just has less mineral, well, it has no minerals. It has nothing in it that could cause any sort of buildup or corrosion in your system. I'm also starting with the water, so if there's a leak, it's A, cheaper, and B, isn't coolant all on the ground.
And C, welcome back to another video.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to hold this thing, which sucks. Hear any leaking yet?
Mm-mm.
It'd probably take at least a gallon.
Oh, you're
Well,
a little everywhere.
kind of screwed that up. It'd take at least a gallon probably before it would leak. It's like the most least ideal funnel. Gallon number 2.
That is a weird sound.
All the air trying to escape. Uh-oh. I feel confident enough to put in antifreeze now? Not really. What's the next step? Oh, this is harder than I was thinking it would be.
Do you need me?
Maybe. Can you just reach your hand out and hold this funnel? Well, hold on, I think I can do it. This is concentrate, so it's a 50, you have to mix it 50-50 with water. It's much cheaper to do it this way, it's just less convenient. Especially if you already have coolant in your car. But it's when you don't have no coolant in your car, it's the way to go. So I've surprisingly filled up the radiator with only 2.5-ish gallons, which means that another 1.5 gallons is actually out of it. This just goes through the engine, which is kind of interesting to see because this holds at least 4 gallons. So we won't be able to add any more until we can crank the engine and have it actually pump through the engine. This will get sucked down. We'll have to refill this again. I should check and make sure the drain plug is torqued correctly. Oh, it would be just my luck.
It's also supposed to rain like a lot today and for the rest of the week, so we're trying to get as much done as we can beforehand. But there's blue skies now, so we'll see.
I don't see anywhere where there could possibly be a coolant leak that would have coolant to it yet, because all the coolant stuff's here and it's dripping off the block. And maybe it's condensation. Might just be condensation. Please do not, ow! Please do not leak everywhere. That'd be great. Is she leaking everywhere?
So far, so good.
goes nothing. Filling the transmission up. Wow, that's gonna take a while with that little bitty funnel under there. So as you guys know, iFixit has been a sponsor throughout this entire series of fixing up our old truck, and I wanted to show you guys this week one of their kits because I've talked about them, but I haven't really shown them. This is one of the kits right here. It is for, this one specifically is for fixing an iPad. This is my mom's iPad. The kids use it, our nieces and nephews, and obviously it got dropped and that's not safe to use anymore. So we got ourselves one of these iFixit kits, and we're gonna quickly replace an iPad screen, which is pretty sweet.
You can keep seeing me in that reflection.
Ooh. Oh. Too nice. Too nice. Hold up. I'll tell you what, iFixit has got their packaging game down. Like, it is strong. Look at that. You ever bought a part and have packaging that looks like that? I mean, come on. Okay, so here's the part. This is sweet. This is the part, and this is the opening, the eye opener kit. So I'm assuming this is all of our tools and things. That's for sure. Look at that. We need to fix our fridge next. Jeez. So here's all of our tools. This came with a lot of tools, which is awesome. So we have our screwdrivers, our little tweezers, and our opener things. This is very interesting. I can't wait to see how you use this thing. I actually don't really know what it is. It says microwave. So, oh, okay. So I guess this is going to release the glue. That's sweet. Again, the packaging is just impeccable. Honestly. Nice. Alright, there's our screen. Set it aside. So what's super great is you don't get like a random little piece of paper that shows you like steps in black and white. You get a full-blown guide tutorial with really good images, step-by-step instructions, like every single thing you need to do in order to complete this. And if I'm not mistaken, this kit was only like $50 for all of this, which is insane. That is like a steal. All right, let's get after it. Roll the B-roll montage, whatever you want to call it. The hip kids are saying these days. I think this thing is so cracked that this is going to be more difficult, and I think I should put on some glasses. truth. Will it work? I probably should have tested it before I sealed it up. Ooh, nice. Nice, I have no idea what. Ooh, no. Guys, that's what it's all about. That's the reason why we started this campaign. It's the reason why we're really passionate about working with iFixit. And that is that for $50, that's it. We've completely fixed an item that was destined for trash, and there's a lot of valuable resources in here that A, should be recycled, but most people don't, but B, if they can get a longer lifespan out of them, that's even better. So for $50, we're able to fix this. Now, here's the thing, like maybe you're like, you know what, I want the new iPad, okay, and there's reasons why you might, but guess what? This is such an awesome device for our nieces and nephews to play on, and as you can see, they dropped it, broke it, and for $50, it's replaced. You know, you're not buying these brand new ones. So it's a great way to keep your old devices going, you know, turn it into a little like play device or learning device, whatever you want to call it. So awesome use for it. Thank you very much, iFixit, for sponsoring this week's video. Thank you very much for everything you'll do for Right to Repair. And let's get back into the video. So what the heck am I doing here? Well, I am struggling first of all, but second off, I'm cleaning out all these fuel lines. They've been sitting around for a while. They needed to be cleaned anyway, but they've been sitting around for a while, so there's a possibility that there's something's gotten in them. So isopropyl alcohol, and the reason we use this, the reason I'm using this, is because it evaporates very quickly and also is not going to damage any sort of engine component if it were to get in. In fact, it'd probably make a fairly good gasoline if I had to take a guess. I'm just dumping it in and then letting it run through the system and using a similar air pressure to what you'd find in the car. Actually, it's going to be a bit more than that. Fuel pressure's nowhere near this, actually. But it's going to spray everywhere under the car, more than likely. That one sounded like it had some in it.
That's it?
Yep. I'll do these ones now. This is up real high. Mm-hmm. They're up pretty high though. This is the brand new fuel filter. They always have a direction of which way the fuel goes. It goes towards the engine. So don't mess that up or else no bueno. I mean, in theory, a little bit of gas and she's ready to fire, with the exception of the exhaust, which technically is not necessary for a vehicle to run. Just be a little bit more rowdy.
Oh boy. Good thing we're in Rowdy City.
Oh wait. Well, to run, yes, but I don't have the all the wiring done. But that's all rear speed and transmission stuff. So for it to run, technically speaking, it's ready. But I guess I'll get all the wiring done. Kind of sucks though, because like all this is stuff for the rear bumpers and brake controller, trailer brake controller, that kind of stuff. And it's all kind of old and not factory, so a little bit of a nightmare to put in. We should get the exhaust done.
Yeah.
That should probably be on the priority list.
Yeah.
And tighten up the brake lines. Slash bleed the brakes, slash add brake fluid.
Slash replace the other brake.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm doing this right. This diagram does not make sense compared to what I'm looking at here. About to find out if this runs. I don't have very much gas. We just want to see if it runs though.
See if it starts.
See if it starts.
This is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to get this to go in here actually. This might be a disaster. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this ignition coil, and we're going to let the engine crank a couple times without letting it start. The reason for that is the replacing the oil pump. I mean, not the oil pump, but the oil pan and gasket and all of that stuff. There's a lot of oil that got out of the engine, so I want to let the pump cycle a couple times using the starter and build a little bit of oil pressure before we actually start the engine.
Okay.
Everything's still kind of apart in here. Should hear the fuel pumps run when I put it into accessory though. Heard 'em. So it's gonna run a few times without actually starting, hopefully. Nothing. I know I don't have the O2 sensor connected. I know that because I don't have the exhaust on.
You think that would do it?
But why did it start at all right there is a little weird. So. Or it could be a neutral safety switch thing.
Oh, it's not connected?
The transmission, which if it doesn't think it's in park, it won't start.
Good call.
Alright.
That's a start.
Yeah, so now I just need to put the ignition coil back on and then it should start. It's gonna run rough though because it doesn't have the oxygen sensor.
Okay.
And it's gonna be loud.
Because we don't have the exhaust.
Because we don't have the exhaust on. Build some fuel pressure maybe. Alright. Come on, baby. Let's do. They might just not even have enough fuel in that tank though. Place my hand. Let me see where this goes. Don't move.
When things don't fit, you make them fit.
Things don't fit. Just pisses me off. It's gonna be coming out right next to your legs.
Yeah, I felt it.
I know it's just fine. There she is.
There she is.
Just keep her like that. Straight pipe right out the side. It's running so rough that I can't control the throttle. Alright, so we are adding brake fluid back to the system. It's important so we can actually have brakes, obviously. So this is your master cylinder where brake fluid goes. I've filled it all the way up to the top, and now we're going to bleed the system because there's a ton of air in it. And if we don't bleed it, then it will never work properly. It'll always feel kind of spongy and not firm on the brakes. So we have this master cylinder full, and then we're going to go to the farthest brake from the cylinder, which is the back left, back right of the vehicle, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so here's the idea of the way this works. This is that wheel cylinder, that we installed in the brake system, the new one, and that's what all the brake fluid goes into. And then there is a like zerk that sticks out that you can use to relieve pressure and to bleed them. Basically means you can open up a valve and let fluid come out. So we're going to use this seemingly fancy like $20 tool here to pull vacuum, but there's other ways you can do this. You can just have someone press the brakes. There's a million ways to do this. Anyway, all we're simply going to do in layman's terms is get the fluid from that reservoir all the way back here and get the air out of it. That's all.
So you're just pulling air throughout the whole system.
Yeah, we're trying to get it to be all fluid, no air present in the system.
It's been raining for the past 2 days, and right where we need to be to put the rest of the exhaust on, it's a mud hole. So he's going to try to pull it up onto the concrete and see if we can finish up this job. I mean, she's loud, but she's rolling.
Barely. Part number one. Also notice the beanie. It is somehow frigid today. And it's supposed to get into the 20s this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely absurd.
Which is weird because literally, I think it's in this video, I was in a tank top and I got sunburnt.
We went to the beach.
Yeah, we went to the beach last weekend.
Yeah.
And now we're in freaking jackets and beanies.
Ow!
Oh.
Ow!
Your butt crack's about to show.
No part of this exhaust system so far has fit. It's all OEM fit stuff, and none of it so far has fit like OEM. Super annoying too. Like, it is really, really annoying. Part of me just wants to straight pipe this thing, just remove this out of the equation completely.
This is a dumb question, but is that the muffler or is that the catalytic converter? That's what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will you go hand me the muffler? The black thing. See, even this doesn't really fit the way it's supposed to. It's hitting a bunch of stuff. Everything needs to be lifted up like that, which I guess can happen whenever we strap it, but
yeah,
there's so much stuff touching, which is going to make it rattle more than likely. Let it sit here. Will you bring me some more parts, like the
you have to be very specific.
Let's bring all of it out here and set it here, and then I'll start adding it in. Stickers are really annoying. Like these things, I guess you just like, I don't, like, you screw them into the frame, like. that end up, twist it, get it up to level, and then come down just a touch. Not that much, just like a tiny bit. Hold it there. It's already hot again. Decided to warm up like 30 degrees in a matter of an hour. The exhaust is kind of installed, so we're going to start up and see what it sounds like for the first time. There's some things that I'll have to tidy up later, but for now it's installed and works. Just got the O2 sensor in, so hopefully that means it's actually going to run better as well. But it should sound good, and it should stay at idle, and we shouldn't have any like weird stalling issues. Ready?
I'm ready.
Check engine lights.
No check engine lights. Nice.
Oil pressure's good. The fuel gauge is working. Just settled into a nice idle. See, I had to learn for a minute because everything's been disconnected. Fuel riches, the richness of the fuel, and all these sorts of things. It just settled in. Now let's hear what she sounds like. All right, so it's like a very reasonable.
I just got louder.
Yeah, it just tried to settle back down again. Okay. It's like a very reasonable sound. I'm happy with that. It's like a little better than stock. Like you can hear it.
Yeah.
But it's not like obnoxious at all.
At all.
So there's just a slight little boop, 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 boop. Like a diesel boat is what it sounds like, honestly. I'm actually going to let this come all the way up to operating temperature so we can check our transmission fluid. I actually need to back it one to flat ground to check that. You smell that?
Yeah. It's probably just burning off grease.
Oh no, it's burning off the
stickers.
The stickers. And it sounds empty.
Yeah.
Empty. That thing, it must have been running super rich when we started early and just guzzled gas.
Yeah.
Guzzled $40 worth of gas.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Probably $60 now.
Yeah, probably.
From the other day.
So 5 gallons at $4, yeah. It's gonna be, well, it's not that, so it's not $40, it was $20-something worth of gas.
Yeah.
Worth of gas. Gone. Yeah, that says it has fuel in it.
Are you serious?
So now theoretically, maybe it's because these are new aftermarket pumps, theoretically now I could probably stay in the front tank and it'll pull from the back tank.
So, jump back real quick.
So we've just been burning through fuel like crazy. The car would just stop running and would go knock on the tank and there'd be nothing in it. And I'm talking like we just put 6 gallons, like $25 worth of fuel in the back tank and idled for like 10 minutes? Maybe? It didn't even have time to get up to temperature. And then it just quit. And I went and knocked on the tank and it was empty. I'm like, how in the world are we using that much fuel?
Because even the other day we put in 5 gallons.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting with 5 gallons and we just put another 5 gallons.
But what it was doing, it was transferring from the rear tank to the front tank. And I had the rear tank selected and the front tank disconnected because I didn't want it running dry ever. I wanted no chance of that. So something that this truck used to not do, at least I don't think it did, is it's now pulling, and maybe it's supposed to have done this all along, but it just never had enough fuel pressure. that it can pull from, as long as you're in the front tank, it can pull from the rear tank too. Like the new fuel pumps have enough power.
And then just a minute ago, we didn't have the front tank connected.
No.
Did you already say that?
Like power-wise.
Yeah.
But I have heard that that's a thing on this type of truck, but not in all year models that they do it that way. So maybe I've just been like unaware of this the entire time, but I'm pretty sure that it didn't work that way before. But I actually like it better like that, because now I can stay in just the front fuel tank.
And you have a reserve, pretty much.
It's running really good though. Like this is the best. This is solved all the issues. The idling issues that we were having before are gone. I mean, I've only changed a couple sensors, and I guess one of them did the trick.
Yep.
And also, while I got you, someone in the comments section made a really good point on the compression. So the truck had been sitting for a while before we did the compression check, so the battery could have been low, and then after doing 7 cycles of the starter on each cylinder, by the time we got to the right hand side of the motor, the starter could have actually not been getting as much power and therefore showing lower compression rates, because when we got to the right side, it progressively got lower across the board. So it is entirely possible that it could have just simply been a low battery the entire time, which I'm glad it's like started again, because now we'll be able to check that. We're gonna do a handful of things that people suggested, all of the things, and then we're going to check it again. But even a lot of mechanics said that it wasn't low enough for them to be concerned, that it was pretty normal for this age of engine. So I'm kind of feeling like the engine is good.
It's fun, yeah. I just can't imagine it being that bad with that low of miles.
I mean, there's so many, like, just poor maintenance.
Yeah.
But when I looked in it, when I had the pan off, the oil was great. So it clearly has been maintained. Like, there was no residue in the engine or like caked in dark oil at all. It was still like really good. So
how's the temperature now?
It's finally getting up to temperature. This truck always runs really cold though. Also, we're still adding transmission fluid. It still hasn't got to the dipstick. Since I've started it and cycled through the gears, it sucked a bunch of fluid in, and so now I'm just continually adding. Alright, so one of the main things that everyone recommended we do to this truck was use this Seafoam spray. Now, after my own research, I liked the one that goes directly into your intake more than the one that goes into your gas. I think this is going to do the best job. So I have this snuck in. It kind of curves around and goes inside your intake hose. And essentially, the engine's hot. We're going to turn it back on, and we're going to spray this entire can, which just sounds so wrong, into the engine. And it says it can take up to 7 minutes of continuous spraying before it runs out. Also, another thing that says it's important is that you hold the RPMs around 2,000, so like barely put your foot on the pedal while it's being sprayed.
So this is definitely a two-person
Yeah, definitely
thing.
a two-person thing. Well, really, technically, I can just hold it right here and hold the RPMs up.
Oh.
This is the throttle. Yeah, I just want to make sure I read all the directions and do this correctly so that it has the best chance.
Because we've never done this before.
Yeah, and these things are always very controversial, so I want to make sure I'm doing it correctly before I make an opinion on it. This is going to smoke like crazy.
Smoke?
Yeah, out the exhaust, I would assume. It doesn't say so many directions, but you could stall the engine with this. You don't want to do that. Alright, here we go. I don't think it's spraying. Alright, so now the can states once it's empty to remove this, put your intake back together, but let the engine sit for 10 minutes in hot soak is what they call it. And then after that, it says to start and drive the vehicle under engine load for 10 minutes or longer. Apply spirited acceleration when safe. To burn off hydrocarbon residue. So obviously we can't really drive very far or do much with this thing. So I'm just gonna kind of rev it and, you know, do it that way. I might take her for a spin around here though.
It's the first time. Oh. Okay. That was not. Okay, I regret getting in.
Made it that time, no problem. It doesn't let loose on the rear end as much as I'd like. Need to give her a little bit more gas. Oh man, okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You think? After I...
Sort of rutting up the driveway a bit. It honestly, genuinely feels like it has more power. I don't know if that's because this cleaner just did that. I don't think that's what it is. I think it might be more so the fact that it has fresh fuel pumps and it has
We're just
a
casually...
more open exhaust, because believe it or not,
Oh my gosh.
that
Look, this is our back patio.
believe it or not, that more open exhaust, less restrictive exhaust, does mean more power. The transmission feels much better too. Let's see this time. Yeah, see, nothing going into reverse. Remember that clunk I was talking about when we started? That's gone.
Yeah. Every time you used to put it in reverse, it would, like the whole car it felt like it jumped.
Yeah, that's gone.
Not
I think
no
we've
more.
solved like every problem we've had. Now I think it would be better to run this truck at a higher RPM for a longer period of time for this, like after soaking, but it's done smoking, so clearly I've burnt off every bit of remaining fluid that's left in there, so I assume
I'm sure
it's
they're
good.
throwing up right now with how jiggly this is.
No, really?
Are you just so happy?
I got my truck back. It's been like a long time since I've gotten to drive it. And it's driving, it's idling better than ever before. The only thing that's on is an ABS light, so honestly that could just be the sensor unplugged or something. So I have to figure that out, but I mean obviously we don't have a bed on it, we don't have any of the cosmetic stuff done, but mechanically
We have a truck.
she is sound. Now we haven't done any of the front suspension either, so stay tuned for that, but pretty much better than ever. It's amazing. Well guys, I couldn't wait any longer. Molly's actually cooking dinner. I pulled all the spark plugs out and I ran a compression test, and oh well, it's leaked down. So okay, well maybe I'll try to do this single-handedly, but regardless, crazy thing happened. The compression is fixed. Now it's not like super high, but it's now consistent, which is all that really matters. It's now consistent with what an engine of this age should be, which is just insane. So maybe potentially it just needed, like this, these are some things that people sort of told us that could potentially be the problem, and so it could maybe have been any one of these things. It could have been that it needed some fresh oil, could have needed a fresh charge on the battery, could have needed those valves sort of unstuck or relubricated, which Seafoam could have done. Could just be the day. I'm not really sure, but I'm taking that as a win. And you could definitely tell when you heard it run earlier that it wasn't having that issue. I immediately knew when we started up for that first time and it idled perfectly. that all those issues would have been gone. And now I just got to confirm it, which is freaking awesome. I am so excited now and feel like I have such a weight lifted off, you know, knowing that, you know, I don't have those potential engine issues anymore. So thank you very much to everyone. Wow, not a camera person. Thank you guys very much for everyone that commented down below to help me out with that and sort of, you know, ease my worry, I guess, and give me some solutions that I could possibly try. And there you go, comment section for the win, because it appears that one of the things that y'all said worked. I can't give credit to any one specific thing, but thank you guys. All right, Molly is screaming at me to come in for dinner, but I thought I might as well go ahead and put in new spark plugs while I have the old ones out, since it's not the easiest thing in the world on this engine to take them out, especially on this left side. So here is the brand new one versus old. Quite a big difference, huh? Pretty sweet. So just out with the old, in with the new. And lastly, let's make sure it still starts up again. Heck yeah. Starts up in less time now. And there's no more rough idle. Yes.